everyone, and welcome to another Cosmic Circus review. My name is Vin, and with me, as always, is John Dotson.
Hello.
Today, we are doing Red Rooms. This is a great new movie from Canada. It just released last year in festivals, and it's coming theatrically this year. In fact, it's already streaming in Canada, but it's coming out theatrically in the US in September, I believe. I don't want to give away too much about the story just yet. There's almost, to be honest, I want you to go in completely blind. I don't want you to know anything going in. I didn't know anything going in, and I had a blast. So I just want to say, very basic story. It's about justice and danger in the internet age, and it's kind of in the style of David Fincher, Mr. Robot. It's written and directed by Pascal Plante, and it stars Juliette Gariépy as Kelly-Anne and Laurie Babin as Clementine. It's a Canadian film. It's in French, but I was absolutely thrilled. It's one of my favorite films of the year. John, what was your reaction to this movie? What did you expect going in, and what did you think about it?
So I have covered Fantasia Fest for like 3 or 4 years, and that's a Canada-based film festival. And you are, like, if you're in the press, they sometimes offer the press to do it remotely. Last year, this was the opener for Fantasia. Wow. I did not see it because it was not one of the movies that was offered for remote.
John, really quick. What is the significance of being the opening film? What does that mean about it?
I mean, like, it can be hit or miss. I mean, like, it doesn't always mean like it's going to be the best film.
Okay.
Of the festival. I mean, Fantastic Fest opened with Smile, which Smile is good, but like I wouldn't say that was the best movie at Fantastic Fest, a couple of years ago. But it's just kind of like it gets people like in the mode. Sure. It's almost kind of like a thesis for the festival.
Okay. Okay. An opening statement.
Yeah. It just gets people in the festival mode. But I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know anything about that director or anything about the movie or anything. And then it was about 8 months later, 9 months later, a friend of mine named Jeremy Thomas, who works at 401 Mania. I'm gonna call you out, Jeremy, who got to see this film and watch it. I think he actually got to put the review out before us. But I think they do it in waves. You know what I'm saying? They'll do it like in different waves. And I think, I'm not sure, but I know I heard him talk about it. And he said he loved it. Like that, he really loved it. So I brought it up to you. And Lizzie, I was like, guys, maybe we should give it a shot. See if there's anything here, because we're looking for obscure titles. And
I love giving anything a shot. Like any weird thing, like I love it. Like anything I've never heard of, let's go for it.
Right. Yeah. So that is my history with that movie.
Mm-hmm. And how was the payoff after you saw it? After you saw it, what'd you think?
Okay. So I like the film. I like the film.
Right. Did you love it?
That's where I'm not sure, because it's not that it's not a bad thing that I say that. It's just that this is a very dense movie.
Yeah.
Very dense, and it does not hold your hand at all. It doesn't hold your hand.
I love that about it.
Yeah, I know, and I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
So much of the movie is completely ambiguous. Like they throw you into this movie with this main character, and for almost the entire movie, you have no idea what her motivations are.
No idea what's going on. You have no idea what's going on.
I was so involved and engaged and invested. Oh my god! I was like, I was just hooked. I just loved it. Yeah, go on.
No idea what's going on, and it's very dense. And I think I think I'm going to grow to love it, if that makes sense.
The more I thought about it, I saw this a couple days ago. The more I think about it, the more
Yeah,
I just get really excited by it. Yeah.
but but it's a movie that is very meditative, a little slow burn. But there are things that I'm trying to unpack to like make me. I'm still thinking about a lot of the details and trying to wrap my head around the whole thing as like a as a morsel,
But in a
So
good
I'm
way. In a
still
good way, right?
in a very good way. I'm still trying to unpack everything. I, but my initial reaction, I deeply enjoyed it. There are influences of David Fincher. Like I felt a little bit of Seven in here, a little bit.
Okay.
And what I mean by that, it's ever so subtle. In Seven, you never see the murders happen, but
That's true.
you
That's true.
feel it.
But
You,
also in Seven, you're always from the detective's point of view, and they're catching up after. So
they're catching
I love
up.
that in Seven because they're always a step behind, and that makes it so exciting because you want to see them catch up to him. And at the
Yeah,
very end of the movie, you kind of do catch. It's not a spoiler. At the very end, you kind of do catch up to them. In this movie,
yeah.
the murders have already happened.
I think we gotta be careful. I think we gotta be careful. But
But in this movie, there are murders. The murders have already happened. So it's not quite the same detective beat, but
I would say it's kind of similar because instead of Somerset and Mills, you have a very unlikely detective. A very unlikely detective. She's not the traditional procedural character. And through most of the film, and again, it's so hard to talk about this film
hold
without
on. When we get to
spoiling.
spoilers, I want you to remind me. I want to ask you about her background when we get to
Yeah.
spoilers. Not now, but when we get to spoilers.
But what I mean is it's just very untraditional
Mm-hmm.
in how it approaches the investigation side of that kind of character. And, you know, at the same time, there's a little bit of the girl with the dragon tattoo thing going on here too. Like a little bit
Also Fincher.
um also Fincher. Um
Uh,
Not as extreme.
mm-hmm.
It's not like a girl with a bunch of piercings
Mm-hmm.
or tats or anything like that,
Oh man, I didn't even think about this comparison. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but there's
Ooh, that's good. That is good. Yeah.
a little bit of girl with the dragon tattoo going on. And you know, it is so intriguing all throughout. Very intriguing, meditative, slow burn. Love the cinematography, love the performances. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
One
I
thing that's
enjoyed
really
it.
interesting, like you're comparing it to these investigative movies, and here the investigation isn't, from my opinion. I don't think the investigation is so much uh, who did the murders or how did they happen. It's more of an investigation of the people's reactions to this court case. So there's this court case happening, and again, going as blind as possible. So if you have not seen this movie, I suggest you just turn this off, go watch it, and come back. Even though we're not in spoilers, I want you all to just go in as blind as possible. Anyway, so
Yeah.
there's a court case happening, and instead of like really investigating the details and the detective and the forensics work, it's more of investigating. You have like these two people, Kelly-Anne and Clementine, and it's investigating their reaction. Kelly-Anne is like, yeah, he did it, and she's very matter of fact, and Clementine's like, no, 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 he's innocent, right? And you have, remember the talk show, there's the game show, and they're all talking about it. It's all this speculation just around the court case. It's about how it affects society, people's responses to the court case. That's the investigation. It's not the investigation of the forensics of did he do it or not. And it's really also an investigation of this Kelly-Anne character and what are her motivations. Why is she doing this? What is her background? What is her connection to it? It's the investigation about the people around it, not even the
Well,
event
well,
itself. Yeah.
no, a- again, that's why I make a little bit of some comparisons because they know who's doing it in Southern too. They can't pinpoint like they can't find them. but they know that it's just one guy. God, man, it is so hard to talk about this movie. It's so hard to talk about this movie, but like,
Because you just have to go in blind. Yeah.
yeah,
Like I just go in with knowing nothing. Like I don't know what you knew. Probably at nothing also, and just go in and
yeah. But
just let it figure itself out.
I think we need to try to be more vague, but like, um, I do think it's a movie that rewards the more you stick with it.
Sure, sure.
The more it goes along, the more it reveals itself. I think the second hour is way stronger than the first hour. It was
Okay.
like there's a
The
point.
first hour is a lot of like setting it up. Setting
It
up.
works, yeah, it
Yeah,
works. It builds the house.
yeah, yeah.
It builds the house, and then it like, but it's like right after two characters depart that it just like I started going, what is going on here? What's going on? What's happening? Because
Who's the second character?
um there's one okay. Again, I'm trying to be vague. I'm trying to
Mhm.
be vague.
But look, if no one's seen, if they haven't seen this movie, then they don't know the characters. If they have seen this movie, then they know what you're
Yeah,
talking about anyway.
but there's two main characters that
Hmm.
you kind of are with
Yes.
in the first half,
Yeah.
like in the first portion.
Yeah.
Somebody makes a revelation, and then that person
Leaves.
leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when that revelation happens, we go deeper into the main
Yeah.
protagonist. And it was at that point that I could feel myself going, okay, what is happening?
In a good way.
In a good, yeah, in a
Yeah.
great way, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was like, and he didn't talk. There's not a lot of talking in there. There's a lot of just text, a lot of texting. Um, Kind of like, you ever see the movie Searching?
That's the exact thing I was thinking at first. But I think this movie, I love Searching, by the way. I love Searching.
Yeah,
I think this movie does some things in a little more clever way. There are whole scenes where you're on her computer screen, or she has the double monitor, which is cool. And like any modern person, she's also listening. So she's listening. You have audio input, and then you have two monitors, and all three are interacting. I love how this movie deals with screens. There's the one scene when Clementine's in the room and she's watching the TV. Okay, so you see her in profile watching the TV, but then here behind her you see the computer. So you're watching her profile reaction, but then you on the computer behind her you can actually see the real screen. I love clever things like that in this movie. It has screens. You're watching screens, but they're interacting in the real world in a more natural way
in a
than
very
Searching
natural
was.
way.
And I
And
love Searching, but this is like next step, I think.
and I love how so a little bit of a trigger warning for anybody who's
Oh yeah, for
watching
sure.
right now. If you are sensitive to violence to anybody young, I would say trigger warning in that regard. But I do think that the movie has a very clever way of communicating its violence. Like there's like a scene
Hmm.
where they're just like looking, and their face is just red. It's just red, and it's
It's the
just
power of acting. It's the power of performance and
yeah,
cinematography and framing. You don't need to
yeah,
see the violence to. It doesn't need to be some gore fest, right? It's
at
very
all.
tasteful about it because what you imagine is worse than what
It's
they can
so
show you,
much
right?
worse, so much worse.
And the sound effects,
And
the sound is good too.
the sound is good. The sound design, like during those moments, are very great. The girl that plays Clementine in
Hmm.
one of those sequences
Laurie Babin.
is so good in that thing. So good. And yeah, man, I mean, I think it's a good film. A very good
It's
film.
one of my best. It's one of my top of the year.
Yeah,
Really.
it's a very good film. I am so glad we asked for it.
Dude, I love this movie.
Yeah,
And what's funny is it's already streaming in Canada.
yeah,
Already. But in the US, it hasn't even released theatrically, and almost nobody's even heard of this outside of like a reviewer circle. Like
No
it's
one's
so good.
no one's heard about it, and on top of that, like, dude, you know what's funny is I googled it, like before we got on because I was just trying to
Mhm.
do a little bit of research, and it's gonna be playing right next to me.
Oh
One
man, that's
here,
gonna
one
be
here in
good.
Dallas. I was like, oh wow, nice.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah. So yeah. Um, if you're watching this, I'm telling you, Google, see if it's nearby, because like I'm in
In September,
Dallas.
it comes out September in the
Yeah,
US.
I'm in Dallas, and it's gonna be playing in Dallas.
Yeah, and
So
go see it. I want. There's a couple notes I want to mention. I really love the music of this movie. The opening scene, the opening intro, hooked me right. I love like opera and theater and ballet. I love music and image together. And this opening, the whole opening is silence, and it introduces you to the character. It's this beautiful blue with red text for the credits, and this music, like Baroque style music. And over the movie, the score is a little bit more kind of Reznor and Ross, again like Fincher, but it also has this nice guitar too, and like these catchy drums. Like it's a really good score.
I would say at times it's a little more understated than Reznor and Ross. Like
Sure, maybe.
there's one sequence that I'm thinking about, like specifically where she's like talking on the computer,
Hmm.
and then like crossing the street, and there's like this like one note that keeps like playing
Hmm.
ever so gently. It's not like it's very technical in sound, but it's not abrasive.
Hmm.
It's just very subtle. And I was like, man, that's good.
Yeah,
It's very good.
it's
I will and I will admit my only if I had a nitpick, but it's more of a nitpick than it is a critique. But if I had a nitpick, it would be that I felt like the movie was building a pressure
okay.
that I don't feel that completely hit for me at the end.
Hmm.
Like, because I felt this like momentum, like building
Sure,
and
sure, yeah.
building and building and building, and it did pop. It did pop. I got a little bit of relief with that pop.
But it still
Right?
leaves you feeling a little bit unresolved at the end. But I
Yeah,
think in a way where like it leaves you to think about the movie. It's not like, oh, I'm missing something, but it's more like you connect the dots now and you discuss with your friends to figure out what you think happens
yeah,
next,
yeah.
or what you think the background is. Yeah.
And he does explain things like thankfully it
Hmm.
ended it ended like 2 minutes earlier. I probably would have thrown my computer, but
This movie has a lot of long takes, and I don't know if you paid attention, but some of the long takes are like extremely long takes.
that
The
the
the,
first
the
scene is
first scene,
incredible.
there's two lawyers presenting the two sides. The whole thing is one long take.
Yep.
It is insane, and the whole movie has all these long takes, and it really immerses you in the world to the extent sometimes it feels like you're spying on them. It feels like they're just real characters doing their life, and it feels like you're spying on them because it's so long. But also that fits into the narrative of the movie. There's a kind of like maybe kind of paranoia aspects and kind of like surveillance aspects to it also. Kind of like who do you trust, right? And so the fact that you feel like you're spying on them, they feel like they're being spied on. It all really fits together
Yeah,
so well.
it really
Um,
does. It is so. That's what I was saying. The cinematography is just amazing in this film.
yeah,
I looked up the guy. I don't have his name right here, but um,
the cinematographer,
yeah, the cinematographer.
Vincent Byron.
He's been around since 2008. It looks like he's done a lot of shorts and music videos and a couple of TV series.
But is
But
this his first big movie?
no, I think he's done some other movies. I've just never heard of them.
Okay.
But
It,
then,
it really seems like a lot of the people in this movie are like this is going to be their big break. I think, hopefully, because this movie
Yeah.
is this deserves to be a big break.
And does she look familiar, the main character, to you? Because I kept thinking that all through the film. I was
She
like,
kind of looks familiar, but I've definitely never seen her in anything. But and
yeah,
maybe in a sense that there some people have like some kind of like beautiful star quality that kind of recurs through generations or through different actors. Like,
well, I
but
did
I
chuck,
don't think I've seen her specifically anywhere.
I did chuckle to myself at one point in the movie,
But
and I won't say what happens, but I was like, oh my gosh, she looks like Bryce Dallas Howard. That was Howard.
okay, okay, I
I
can
was
see
like,
that. Especially, I can imagine what part you're talking about.
yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, it's Bryce Dallas Howard.
Uh huh. Uh
But
huh.
spoilers right now. If you have not watched the movie, please make your exit stage left.
Or just pause the video and come back after.
Yeah, and then come back
Please come back. Come
and
back.
listen to us talk about this movie. It's very good. Go see it in theaters. Yeah, go support small films. Go
Especially
on.
good ones. Go support the good ones. Yeah.
Yeah, go
Okay.
support
Okay.
small films.
John. Spoilers. My favorite part, I think, of this entire movie, when she's in the courtroom and she's in the outfit, and they're taking her away, and you hear the music. The music is building, 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 and then the guy looks at her, and the music screams, and it screams. Oh my god! Do you know what I'm talking about, right?
I
And it's freaking
do.
out. Then it's screaming with the music. Oh my! That is filmmaking. That
I,
is masterful.
now,
Wow.
my question for you, um, because like it seems like she was not sure whether it was him until that moment. Like is it
I interpreted that she was sure the entire time, and I wondered how she was sure, and it never explains fully how she knows, but
yeah.
she has this confidence.
So my assumption is that the first two videos did not show him.
Only the eyes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
only the eyes. And I'm guessing now it's my theory, because the movie does not hold your hand, is that she put on that outfit to go in there to see if she could get him to react.
Which she did,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
that
what he
was my thought.
does.
Well, also because at that point her modeling career is already like thrown away, so she has like
Yeah,
nothing left, and so I thought there she was doing that in order to trigger him, which she did, and he waves at her, and that's when the whole case starts falling apart, right?
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Now my question to you: what do you think her background is? Where do you think she got that outfit? Is she from that school?
Man, that is where I'm unclear. That is
Okay.
where I'm
I
unclear.
think she is. I'm not sure why she cares so much. And I was wondering maybe she's related to the kids, or maybe somehow she feels so she needs. Why does she feel the strong sense of justice?
And that's where I kind of go back and forth on whether it's like great or not, because I don't know her motive.
But
Sorry.
sorry,
Um,
but you can, like we said, they don't need to show you the violence. You can imagine it. Do they need to tell you the motivation? There could be 1,000 reasons for it.
yeah,
Do you need an explicit reason? Batman saves people because his Martha died with the
and
pearls.
I agree. I agree.
Can it just be that
I go,
she
I
just saves
go,
people to
I
yeah?
go back and forth on it. I go back and forth. I go from like, I want to know, I don't want to know. I want to know, I don't want to
Mhm.
know. I go back and forth on it. And
I think look,
does it make it more interesting if she's just some person? You
I
know?
love what they did because it allows you to have this discussion. It at the end
Yeah.
of the movie pretty much says go talk about it with your friends.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I
So
my look, right before she does that, she goes she buys something online. She goes to her post office, she picks it up. When she decides she wants to do this outfit thing, her package is small, so she did not buy the whole outfit. I think she only bought the braces. So and of course the wig she probably has that from modeling.
oh, I yeah, I
So
did not think about that. No.
So my thought is that she already had the outfit. And when you see her buy that small package, that's telling you she already has everything else. The wig she has from her modeling, the outfit she has because she was a schoolgirl there.
So
That's my interpretation.
so
Yeah.
do you think the last video is somebody she was related to?
Oh, that last girl?
The last girl, yeah.
No, no way. Because when she was dressed up like that, the parents would have recognized her then,
Oh man,
right?
yeah, you're
Because
right.
because she
You're
went
right.
famous after that. Everyone knew her name after that. Remember?
Yeah, yeah, man. It's like
Yeah.
I said. It's just so, man. Yeah. So I guess I gotta answer some of our questions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and again, I love it for that. It does not hold your hand. It doesn't like it doesn't cradle you. You know, I love every sequence when there's no dialogue.
I love
And
movie. I love silent movies. The 1920s German expressionism, those horror movies. I
yeah,
love those. I don't need dialogue in movies. I just
well,
give me
well,
music and acting, and I
well,
when it's well done,
music,
it's yeah.
acting, there's like typing going on. You know, like you can see the conversations going on a
Uh huh.
computer.
Uh huh.
You know, for like that last 40 minutes, I was like, all right, what is she doing? What is the end game? What is going on?
Yeah, you don't know,
What is she trying to
but
get?
but you love not knowing, and you're like,
Yeah,
whoa, what's
yeah,
happening?
what's going on? I want to know. I want to know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. You don't
the,
even know if
the
she's gonna like do good stuff with it. You don't know what she's gonna do with that
no,
video.
and that's where I was at when she watched it. That video, I was like, okay, am I supposed to be on her side right now, or am I not? Like, what's
Uh,
going on?
uh,
And then you get that little payoff. You know, that I told you, like she goes into the house.
which is a bit creepy.
I had no idea whose house it was at all. I had no idea. And then
They set it up because earlier in the movie, she's like watching the parents and she's like taking their information. Do you remember that?
I completely forgot it was the
Okay,
parents' house. I
okay,
completely
okay.
forgot it.
But it's weird. She goes into the bedroom, like she's like takes a picture of the bed, or like she sits on it or something.
Yeah, and what was that about? What was that
I wonder,
about?
maybe she was like a tutor or something. Maybe she tutored the little girl. I don't know,
Yeah, it's
some kind
just
of
it's not
mentor.
explained. It's
It
not
doesn't need to
explained.
be, in my opinion, but it's just good for
No,
curiosity.
I dig Clementine as a character. I dig her as a character.
Okay.
Um,
Do you think she's a little crazy?
no, but I'm like, well, I think she represents that person that is like so in America right now we have a lot of angry people that
Hmm.
just want to navigate to the most toxic things.
Hmm.
And sometimes it's not even because they're bad people. Sometimes it's not. Like I mean like flat earthers.
Okay.
Flat earth. Like I mean there's not really anything harmful in believing the earth is flat. Besides that it's not true. But a lot of those people I watched a documentary on it, right? A lot of those people found each other because they didn't have any friends.
Hmm.
They
A
had
sense of
nothing,
community. Yeah.
a sense of community, yeah.
Okay.
And what made me think about Clementine is like it's this girl that has nobody.
Yeah. 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 For
And
real.
the only way that she could even make herself feel a part of anything is to do that, you know. Like I believe she believes what she believes, but she also struck me as somebody who didn't really have anyone, you know.
But what's interesting is Kelly-Anne is also a loner, right? You
She
don't.
is,
The only person you see her interact with, I think, is her agent, her modeling agent. There's no parents,
but
no friends, no. Yeah.
she also seems more level-headed
Yeah, but they're
than
both
Clement.
loners. They're both
Yeah,
loners. Yeah.
both loners, both trying to do. They're like two sides of the same coin almost, but like
Yeah, they're a really good match together, even
yeah,
though they're on such different sides of this case, and they're such different temperaments, such different personalities. Even in every way you can imagine, they're very different people. But it makes it really interesting when they interact together, and like they
right.
gravitate to each other because they're both loners. They both have nobody.
That's what they kind of reminded me of. It,
Hmm.
you know, because Clementine is so flawed. She's such a flawed character, and I dig flawed characters like that. Like I when it's something that you know that's a hard character to play.
Yeah.
Playing a character that is an apologist for a possible child killer is a very difficult role to play.
Do you think her character is a little underwritten? Do you think she has enough depth?
I think if there's any lack in depth, it's made up by the
Okay.
performance.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
made up
That's
by
fine.
the performance. Yeah.
The performance is very convincing. Yeah. I wanted a little bit more about her, but I get, like we've said, like it's a pretty minimal film. It's dense but minimal
You could piece it together.
in a
You
weird
could
way.
piece it
Yeah.
together. I mean,
Yeah.
dude, you and I watched an hour and 45 minutes of The Crow last week and got nothing. Like, you couldn't piece together anything from those performances. I could look at the girl that played Clementine and kind of understand that person. I've seen that person.
Mhm.
We know that person.
Mhm.
We deal with those people all the time.
There's a lot in her performance. Actually, you can see like a sense of brokenness, but also a sense of optimism. Like you don't
Yes.
know where she's
Yeah.
come from, but you can feel where she's come from.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what's great about it.
Yeah.
It's very nuanced.
And I do really like also her last scene where she's on the TV and she's talking about how she's reacting to what's happened.
I will
Right?
say I didn't like that. I was like, I didn't
Okay.
need that. I was like, I didn't
Okay.
need this.
No, I mean you don't need it, but I like seeing how she's trying to reconcile with it while
Yeah,
also cashing in on her fame, kind of
yeah, I would have been,
a little bit.
but
Yeah.
yeah, great performance. I yeah,
Oh, one last detail I want to mention that's really neat. At the opening scene, right? We talked about that. Then you get to the courtroom with the two lawyers, and the two lawyers are basically they're talking to the jury, but they're also talking to the audience, and they're saying, "This is what you're about to see. These are the two sides of the story you're about to see. You're about to see this side, and you're about to see this side, and the story will say this, and the story will say this. It's very meta, talking to the audience as well as talking. I thought that was a brilliant way to open the movie. I really loved everything from beginning to end. One of my favorite movies of the year.
the
Yeah.
whole sequence of it, like when it started, I was like, man, are we about to watch
Some 5 out of 5 stuff. Yeah.
like an entire trial? I was like, is this gonna be like
Oh,
one long
12 Angry
trial?
Men.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, dude,
It does feel like that. Yeah.
I would have been game for it. I would have been
Yeah.
game for it. But yeah, great film.
It is surprising how little is spent in the trial. But like I said, it's more investigating the people and the story around it rather than directly the trial. Because you've
Yeah,
already seen 12 Angry Men, right? They don't need to do it again. Do something else.
yeah. But when have we ever like sat through a trial like in a film like one day in court, like make the whole entire movie one day in court? That would have been interesting. I think that would have been
Mm-mm.
interesting. I'm
I'm trying to
glad
have seen a
that.
movie like that.
Yeah, I'm not
I can't
sure.
think of. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I've ever seen that, but still solid movie all around. I don't know if we could. I'm scared to unpack it anymore because I want people to go in as fresh as possible.
Blind as possible. If you
Well,
have listened this far and you haven't seen this movie, what are you doing? Go watch the movie. Go.
yeah,
I'm so sorry for spoiling it for you, but please go watch it.
but great film. I love. I might have came around to loving it after this conversation. Yeah, good
And
movie.
I really think it's also one of those good movies that like it's rewatchable. Once you watch this again, I feel you'll have a much deeper understanding of all the performances happening in this movie too.
Like if you want to
Before we
begin.
talked, I rewatched the opening, and I I I understood a lot more from that opening scene too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm,
Not the whole thing, but just the silent musical part at the beginning, and just about Kellyanne's character. It actually tells you a lot more than you realize in that opening. I think. Yeah. Like it's one of those movies where, like you said, that the longer you stick with it, the more you understand. So when you go back to the beginning, you'll have a whole new layer of understanding. Yeah, which is
and
the
that
sign of a good movie.
that makes a great movie.
It's a great movie, guys. Go check it out if you get some time. And thanks for watching us. If you like this review, be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below. Are you interested in watching Red Rooms? Have you already seen it? Let us know in the comments. We're really excited to talk about this. We are also on YouTube and an audio podcast form. So if you're listening on audio, if you want to watch us on YouTube, go find us on YouTube, The Cosmic Circus on YouTube. And if you're already watching us on YouTube, thanks. Great to see you. If you want to listen to us on a walk, you can find us on your podcast feeds.
Be sure to like and subscribe so we can get 1,000 people on there. We need y'all.
We
We
want
need
1,000 people every week. So tell your friends, tell your families, tell your dogs, and let's get them going.
everyone.
I'm Vin. You can find me on Twitter at VinWritesWords.
I am John, and you can find me at John Movie Watch on Twitter.
Be sure to follow thecosmiccircus.com on Twitter at mycosmiccircus, where you can find more reviews, articles, editorials, and opinions like the one you just watched. Thanks. See you guys next time.